Folks, how are you? Sports Degenerate here, coming to you from the Jersey Brickyard, talking Week 16 in the National Football League and the final week of the fantasy football season. Yet all the sports media can seem to talk about is whether or not there was a foot fetish video involving New York Jets coach Rex Ryan. Oh my gosh, how boring. You know what, don't you have something better to talk about? You know, some sports guys have gone as far as to compare this to Tiger Woods and the Brett Favre sexting scandal. Ain't in the same ballpark, as Sam Jackson said in Pulp Fiction. As a matter of fact, he went on to say that foot massages don't mean poop. I'm paraphrasing, of course, but let's talk about football and not about what Rex Ryan is or is not doing with his foot, and let's talk about football. You know, the New York Jets have a tough matchup against the Chicago Bears this weekend. But let's talk about this week's Fantasy Storm stud. It's Bolts QB Phillip Rivers. Now, this guy's traveling to Paul Brown Stadium to face the Cincinnati Bengals this weekend, and his weather stats are absolutely through the roof. I'm talking, with the 20 degrees forecasted for game time, his career passing yards per game spikes by more than 150 yards per game. Look, I realize you were going to start him anyway, but more than 150 yards per game, that's a monster, y'all. All right, let's not talk about another guy who's scheduled to have a banner day, and that's Steelers wide receiver Mike Wallace. Now, this guy is scheduled to have a fantastic day because with the temperatures forecasted for Heinz Field on Thursday night, which is about 26 degrees, he averages 2 touchdowns per game. That's more than 1.5 touchdowns per game over his career average. Again, a guy you were going to start anyway, but wow, you could be on tap for a fantastic day. All right, this week's Fantasy Storm dud. Let's talk about Tashard Choice, the running back for the Dallas Cowboys. Now, he's traveling to the Dome to face the Arizona Cardinals. It's a pretty favorable matchup on paper, but for whatever reason, Tashard Choice does not play well in the Dome. Both his yardage per carry and his touchdowns per game drop significantly. But if you're desperate, you might have to start him anyway. Well, thanks for joining us. It's been an amazing fantasy football season. Come back and see us next year for fantasy baseball season. Have a Merry Christmas, everyone.